It all began during what should have been an uneventful Sunday game. The Browns were absolutely dominating the Miami Dolphins, up 31-6 with just a few minutes left on the clock. The game was over. Every fan in the stadium knew it, and in moments like that, every coach in the league follows the same unspoken rule. Pull your starters, protect your key players, and give your backups a chance to get some real game reps. But Kevin Stefanski didn't do that. The starters stayed in. Jerome Ford was still running hard despite 25 carries already under his belt. And Dylan Gabriel, the unproven third-round rookie who had somehow beaten out Shedeur Sanders for the backup job, was still taking snaps. Meanwhile, Shedeur sat quietly on the sideline, helmet in hand, waiting for a chance that never came. Skip Bayless watched that game like the rest of us. But when the clock hit 0, he didn't just shrug it off as routine coaching. He went live on national television and dropped a bombshell. According to Skip, this wasn't about game management. It was personal. He claimed Stefanski had gone to the Browns' ownership and general manager behind closed doors and made it clear he wanted no part of Shedeur Sanders, not as a starter, not even as a backup in garbage time. He didn't like the kid's confidence. He didn't like his swagger. He didn't like the attention that came with being Deion Sanders' son. Of course, people rolled their eyes at first. Skip Bayless exaggerates everything, right? That's his brand, saying things so outrageous they trend on social media for days. But this time his words hit different. There was evidence, and it had been sitting in plain sight since training camp. Back then, Dylan Gabriel got every single first-team rep. Shedeur, despite being a higher-rated draft pick with better college numbers, never touched the field with the starters. Even during preseason games, when he got a few snaps, it was clear the coaching staff wasn't giving him equal footing. That should have raised eyebrows, but everyone assumed it was just a normal part of evaluation. Now, in hindsight, it looks like the beginning of a pattern. By the time the season started, Stefanski made it official. Gabriel was the backup, and Shedeur had been pushed down to third string. That was odd enough, but what really made fans furious was what happened in that blowout against Miami. The game was already decided. The risk of injury was high, and yet Stefanski refused to let Shedeur take the field. ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo tried to justify it, saying maybe the coach just wanted to let Gabriel finish his first win. But that explanation fell apart fast. If the point was protecting your young quarterback, why were your running backs still taking hits? Why were your starting linemen still in? The only consistent thing about that decision was that Shedeur never left the bench. Then came the whispers. The Browns didn't want to create a quarterback controversy. They were allegedly terrified that if Shedeur came in, shredded Miami's defense, and threw a touchdown, fans would lose their minds. Social media would explode with demands to make him the starter. The narrative would shift, and Stefanski would have to answer questions he wasn't ready to face. That fear, according to Skip Bayless, has become the defining force behind the Browns' quarterback situation. The irony is that the team already knows Shedeur will get his shot. Sources inside the organization have told ESPN that he'll start the final 4 games of the season regardless of how Gabriel performs. Some even say it could happen sooner, which raises one crucial question. If his time is coming anyway, why not give him experience now when there's no pressure and nothing to lose? The answer, Skip says, is simple: ego. Stefanski refuses to admit he might have been wrong about his evaluation of Gabriel. He's dug in, and he's making football decisions based on pride, not performance. Meanwhile, the evidence on the field isn't doing him any favors. In that Miami win, Gabriel threw for just 116 yards. The Browns' offense looked stagnant. They won because of their defense and their running game, not because of stellar quarterback play. And this pattern has continued. Gabriel's numbers are fine, but not inspiring. Safe passes, short throws, no big moments. He's not losing games, but he's not winning them either. And in the modern NFL, you can't survive like that. You need a quarterback who can change a game with one throw, who can make fans believe something special might happen every time he steps onto the field. That's what Shedeur Sanders was at Colorado. He made something out of nothing, week after week, behind one of the worst offensive lines in college football. He got up after every hit, delivered throws that looked impossible, and carried himself with a calm, almost regal confidence that screamed NFL ready. That's the player Cleveland drafted, and yet that player is wasting away on the sideline because his coach doesn't like the spotlight he brings with him. The whole thing has now become a battle of wills. Stefanski versus the front office. The coach versus the ownership. The team's future versus one man's pride. Inside the Browns building, Sources say there are clear factions forming: those who believe Shedeur deserves a shot, and those who think sticking with Gabriel proves stability. The problem is, while they argue time is slipping away, every week Shedeur doesn't play is a week of lost development. Every game he sits out is another chance for this team to fall further behind, and Skip Bayless isn't letting this story fade. He's framing it as a test of leadership, a moment where a great organization either rises above internal politics or collapses under them. He's even gone as far as to say that if Shedeur had started from week 1, Cleveland would have a winning record right now. It sounds dramatic, but maybe, just maybe, it's not as far-fetched as it seems, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel. It's about a head coach who might be letting his pride steer an entire franchise off course. It's about a young quarterback who's earned his chance but can't escape the shadow of his last name. And it's about a fan base that's tired of waiting for the future, when the future might already be sitting on their bench. When Shedeur finally gets his chance, and he will, it'll be more than just another rookie debut. It'll be a defining moment for the Browns. If he succeeds, it'll expose how misguided Stefanski's stubbornness has been. If he struggles, it'll buy the coach more time. But either way, it's coming. The pressure from ownership, the outcry from fans, and the media spotlight Skip Bayless has unleashed are all converging into one inevitable conclusion. The question isn't if Shedeur Sanders will play, it's how long Kevin Stefanski can survive once he does. So, Browns fans, what do you think? Has Kevin Stefanski let his pride get in the way of progress, or is Skip Bayless just stirring the pot again? Should Shedeur Sanders finally get his moment under center, or has he been overhyped by the media machine surrounding his father? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more breaking sports drama, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on this unfolding saga inside the Cleveland Browns locker room.